On moonless nights in the Louisiana bayou, some people swear they hear metal dragging across the water. Not an alligator, not a boat. Metal, slow, heavy, old like rusted armor, being pulled through the swamp by something that refuses to let go. Others see a pale green light drifting between the cypress trees, moving too slow for a firefly and too steady for a lantern. And if you stand still long enough, you can hear the faint clank of plates shifting, as if something armored is trying to walk again. Locals call him the Blackwood Knight, a ghost still searching for the woman he lost. You're watching Horror Holmes, where legends get treated like evidence. If this is the kind of darkness you chase, add yourself to the casebook. According to the oldest whispered versions, the Blackwood Knight wasn't from Louisiana at all. He was a soldier from a forgotten age who wandered into the swamp chasing a vision only he could see. Some say he came from across the ocean. Others say he was fleeing a war no one remembers. But everyone agrees on what happened next. He met her, a swamp enchantress, half woman, half moonlight. A creature made of mist, shadow, and the quiet hunger of the wetlands. Beautiful, impossible, ancient, they fell in love. And because their love wasn't meant to exist, the curse was cast. The knight drowned in the swamp, his armor rusting shut around his bones, but his spirit never left. He wanders the bayou on nights when even the moon doesn't dare look down. Folklorists argue this legend is a blend of cultures woven together over centuries. French settlers once brought tales of cursed crusaders and soldiers punished for forbidden love. Afro-Caribbean traditions speak of water spirits women, who lure wandering men deeper into the wetlands with flickers of ghost light. Indigenous tribes told stories of guardians who wore metal shells and protected sacred land from outsiders. Somewhere along the way, those stories fused into one figure, a rusted knight who walks the swamp, and a moonlit woman who waits for him in the fog. But the part that gives this legend teeth? People claim to have seen him. In 1804, a French trapper insisted he witnessed a man in broken armor sinking into the swamp, but never going under. He ran. He said the sound of metal followed him through the trees long after he stopped. In 1901, 2 fishermen reported a pale green lantern bobbing between the cypress roots. When they paddled closer, they saw a tall, armored figure standing knee-deep in the water, staring at the moon. The figure didn't turn, didn't speak. It just stood there, rust dripping like tears. The men abandoned their nets and never fished that section again. In 1967, a park ranger found deep impressions in the mud shaped like greaves, the leg armor of medieval soldiers. No prints leading to them. No prints leading away, just the marks and a trail that ended in black water. And as recently as 2012, a solo kayaker swore he heard metal scraping the shallows near his camp. When he looked up, he saw a figure made of fog, shadow, and dripping rust, watching him from the waterline. He ran barefoot back to the highway, leaving gear worth hundreds behind. Then there's the physical evidence, never conclusive, but always unsettling. A rusted helmet was found in 1978 under a collapsed tree root. Historians couldn't match it to any colonial design. Older, unexplainably older. Hunters have captured long exposure photos with thin green streaks gliding low across the marsh, too slow for insects, too deliberate for headlights. And a half-rotted diary from a flooded Blackwood property describes a night-shaped shadow wandering the swamp at night, searching for his moonlit lover. The final entry ends abruptly with, "He walks again." So what is the Blackwood Knight? One theory says he's simply a misidentified swamp light, marsh gas igniting, fading, and drifting in the wind, but that doesn't explain armor prints or metal sounds. Another theory claims the legend began with a real soldier, maybe a colonial deserter who died in the wetlands, his armor rusting into the mud. But the sightings predate the colonists. A third theory argues the enchantress and knight symbolize the swamp itself, beautiful, deadly, impossible to escape in the night as every lost wanderer swallowed by the wetlands over centuries. Fourth frames it as a classic residual haunting, a spirit repeating its trauma forever, dragging rusted armor long after the body is gone. And then there's the final theory, the one locals believe, the one they never say out loud. They think the Blackwood Knight is older than soldiers, older than settlers, older than the swamp's name, a guardian spirit, a protector, a warning. Taking the shape that most scares intruders, A rusted knight searching through the dark for a love who may never return. Here's my working verdict. The Blackwood Knight isn't one ghost, or one man, or one curse. He's a shape fear gave the swamp, a body made from old stories, lost travelers, and the deep imagination of a place that doesn't like being entered without respect. The enchantress may be the swamp itself, and the knight is whoever it sends to bring the lost back home. What do you think? A cursed soldier, grieving spirit, or something ancient keeping watch over the bayou? Drop your verdict in the case notes. You've been watching Horror Holmes where legends get treated like evidence. If this file pulled you into the dark, like it, subscribe, and keep your casebook ready. The next story is already whispering through the trees.